think if you stick to the plan and you do the sacrifice and the whole thing, then everything's gonna come out like to satisfy yourself. I think if you do your part, then you have a good surprise, and if you don't, then you won't be happy as you thought you were gonna be. That's the way I see it.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
What's going on? What's going on?
Going on to San Antonio.
What do we have in the back?
What up?
Oh, you guys.
Hey, man.
Oh, hey. All right.
Good, bro.
Hey, how you doing, man? Good to see you. What happened, dude?
Sí se bañó el Joe, pero hace como una semana.
No,
you look a little different this time.
Yeah, it was supposed to be part of the prep, but yeah, man, I had a little setback.
So explain to me, man, what happened?
Yeah, well, I had a nasal obstruction surgery that I had to take care of it, so I decided to do it. You know, now that it's, I mean, we have, like we said, we have 20 weeks, we're 16 weeks out, so I decided to do it. It was probably about 10 days ago. So we took care of the problem. I'll have enough time to recover, you know, but right now I've just been resting and not really training, but trying to eat as healthy as I can, you know. So I wanted to take care of, I mean, I wanted to get it out of the way right now. I mean, that I had enough time to finish the whole prep. You know, if I was to wait in the middle of the, like 10 weeks out or 8 weeks out, then it would have been impossible to complete the task. So I mean, it was something that I had to do it right now, or I had to wait maybe till August, September. So I said, you know what, I talked to Aaron and said, you know what, go ahead, you'll be out a couple weeks and then just get back on. So how do you deal with that? Like, to get your rest and all that. Like, if the baby wakes up or whatever, how are you dealing with that?
Put a pillow on my face. When I first started, I mean, I barely had money to, like, you know, like, I mean, I was driving a shitty car, you know, but it would take me to places. I was cutting hair. I remember I was working at Domino's, and that was my first job. And whatever money I would get, I would buy, like, I would go and like buy myself a protein and buying food and steak and chicken and all that.
Come on. Good. Easy. Let's go. Got it. Come on. Press. Yes.
Got it, baby.
Yes. Let's go. Come on. Let's go. Breathe. Let's go.
I had a couple of injuries, man. My hamstring, my wrist. I'm used to it, man. I've been training for about 10 years now. I stick to my plan. Keep eating the same, waking out the same. I try to rest as much as I can. But it's going pretty good, man. Recently I broke a weight barrier that I had never passed. It was 185 pounds. I went up to 193, I believe. So that was pretty exciting, you know. I felt like all big and stuff. So that was pretty cool. My first place trophy, my first comp, Mr. Laredo. They jumped me from novice to the open, and I won the open division on the lightweight that year. That was my first year competing. And my baby girl's growing. She's, yeah, man, it's something else. You gotta have time for everything, man. You know, it's just not about lifting weights and eating all the time. You know, you gotta have time for your family too, for my wife, for my baby girl and all that. Yeah. Oh.
She always pulling the beard.
Always.
You know, we're going really heavy. Before I know it, man, I was passed out and got up and like all this was open, bleeding. I had to stop it. Went and get stitches.
How many stitches?
It was actually, he had to sew on the inner side, the inner part of it first, and then the outer, and it was a lot bigger. I can't remember how many stitches, but it was a chunk. What I've kind of seen the last 4 weeks, man, it's work in progress, right? We were actually talking about it a little earlier, man. It's like, hey, since we started this phase, we've been trying to have a partner. So I've been trying to get with Joe, we're trying to get with Tiger, just to make sure that we have a spotting partner, just to prevent injuries, because we are trying to grow. So we're pushing a lot more weight every week. We've been trying to get out of the comfort zone. So by adding a lot more weight, man, that we're having to be a little more careful just to avoid any injuries or any setbacks. And as a matter of fact, this Tuesday I kind of slightly pulled the hamstring when we were doing legs. So, well, it was towards the end of the leg workout day. Like, we were pretty much almost done with legs. We were pretty much done. My muscles were tired, man. They were full fatigue at that point. Like we talked to Aaron this past weekend, man. It's as we start tightening everything down, you know, you start kind of mentally preparing for what's coming. That's just exciting, man. I mean, it's hard for me to because I see myself every day, but even those little tweaks, man, I've noticed, like, hey, I still get my gains in and slowly growing. I work like around 4 o'clock, man, so usually I get out till 4 o'clock, so I try to get it in like before, like around noon. That way it's get my workout in, come out, get my meals, and then prep for work. For me, bodybuilding is what I'm doing right now, man, and I'm very passionate about it. So I do get all that support from my supervisors from work and all that support. So I mean, it just makes it a lot easier. I feel a lot stronger right now. I just feel way stronger. Honestly, I think I feel more focused now. I have more of that drive. I have a program going, so it's easier for me to just stay in that program and not veer off of it. Well, I just think that the closer it gets, the more focus you get, man, because you know that it's getting closer. It's very exciting, man, because you start seeing your body changes, you know, day by day. And I mean, I'm not gonna say it's easy, because it's not, man. Sometimes you just wake up and you feel like you got run over by a train. Like, it's like, hey, you know what? Wherever the mind goes, the body follows.
I couldn't make this trip to San Antonio. For one, I kind of fell back a little bit, you know, because I got sick. You know, I was having a heart issue with a little bit of slight fever, nasal congestion, and slight cough. I try not to, I guess, fall back on it. You know, I try to keep my meals on point. You know, I wasn't taking any medication, because most of the times whenever you do take medication while on prep, you know, it interferes, like with, say for instance, supplement wise, you know, obviously, because it overpowers it. Keeping my body hydrated as much as possible, drinking electrolytes, like one of them, the BCAAs, you know, from Pureline. I guess one of the challenges is that, you know, it's slowly I've been picking up weight. I've been trying to, I guess, find the niche on, you know, how to, you know, move up into the scale. Actually, my body responded a lot better after I got sick, to be honest. So I'm grateful that I got sick. You know, as you gain weight, obviously fat comes along, you know. So me getting sick, normally what you lose, most of it is just water weight. So basically that helped me to actually see myself where is it that I am currently. And with what I saw yesterday, I mean, I was happy. I was glad that I was even sick. There's no off days. This is what I think, you know. Even though, you know, my program is detailed that, you know, I'm supposed to have maybe 2 off days, I don't have any off days, because that one off day, you know, can determine at the very end, you know, either if I win or if I lose. You know, people go around and say things, you know, here and there. I don't listen to anything. There's only 2 people that I listen to while I'm actually doing this. One is for Scott and my family. Anything other than that, like I said, you know, it goes on the secondary level. So as long as I can hear those both, I'm great with that.
You know, one of the things I do with these guys is I'll come into their diet program, and, you know, I look at all these guys I've got on the system. So, you know, I've got everybody here in order. And so let's say, for example, Peter, I have his diet starting at 18 weeks out. At 18 weeks out, I had him at 80 grams of carbs, 45 grams of protein, a little bit of fat, not a lot. I have him eating red meat. I have a lot of different things happening. And basically what I'll do is I'm going to modify that on a week-to-week basis. So it just depends on what I'm seeing happening in the physique. But what I'll do is I'll make modifications based on that, to the diet primarily, again, to the training, and the supplementation based on what I'm seeing. All right, guys, we're back in the saddle again. We've got some progress pics to look at. Let's see where these guys are on their journey. So the first one we're going to look at is Joe. You know, Joe had a little bit of a setback with his nose surgery. I'm glad he got it out of the way early, though, because we're still at this point of this video 16 weeks out, so we've got plenty of time. You know, even though he's only been dieting and getting into the groove for about 4 weeks, you've already starting to see some changes in his body. He's getting leaner through the midsection. He's not as blocky as he was about 4 weeks ago. And remember, Joe was the one that we kind of had to work on just trimming him down from the very beginning, because you know, he was a little thicker through the waist and tended to put on a little more body fat in that area. So he's coming down a lot. Shoulders look great, arms have come up a bit, chest is coming up a bit as well. You know, Israel obviously was in pretty good shape to begin with. Let's take a look at Israel from the back first. Back double bicep shot. The first one we have is from about 3 or 4 weeks ago. And man, I mean, you can tell some crazy improvements in his body just by looking at him. First of all, symmetry is a lot better. I mean, he just has a lot more complete look to his body. Back thickness has come up tremendously. And that was the goal really over the last 4 weeks, was just to continue to build size so that when we pulled him down, there was a lot more there to work with. He doesn't put body fat on that quickly, which is good. And believe it or not, he's not even doing a lot of cardio at this point in the game, and he's still staying relatively lean. So good progress. Man, check out the difference here in just 3 weeks. One of the biggest things we wanted to do with him is just try to trim him down and get him a little leaner while still helping him grow. You know, I mean, you've got to remember, he's still 16 weeks out, but he's still got a little bit of body fat that's completely normal at this point. We haven't really started leaning him out yet, but you can still see that he's getting a little leaner regardless, just being on a higher macronutrient profile and just having a lot of the supplements and a lot of the training changed up in his program. So overall, though, look at his structure. Structure looks a lot better. Shoulders look better, arms look better, lats look better. From the back, this is where you can really start to see a big difference. And it's kind of interesting, you know, where guys tend to start seeing changes depending on their genetics. Some guys get leaner from the back first, some guys get leaner from the front first. It all depends. Everybody is different, but you'll see with Alan, one of the first things you can tell is just his back thickness has increased drastically. So let's look at Peter, see what he's done over the last 4 weeks. I mean, he's had some pretty good progress reports that he's been sending me. So this is a fairly recent picture of Peter. So as you can see, I mean, it's very evident just from the first week that he started, he was holding a lot more body fat and his body just wasn't as full and thick and round, and then you can just tell the structural changes are massive. Just overall, look at chest thickness, abdominal structure, shoulders, arms. I mean, you can just see that, you know, he's filling out really well while getting leaner, and that's really ideally what's supposed to happen. Again, you've got to remember, these guys are still 16 weeks out, so we haven't even really started to get into the nuts and the bolts of the diet where they start leaning down, getting harder, getting drier. So what we're doing is just making sure the foundation and the base is there and that everything is balanced so that when we do start pulling them down, it's going to look pretty incredible.
I'm currently on Testojet, Ep.3, and some pre-workout, Beta Gym, Gluten X, and I'm also taking whey protein right now. So
hey, right now, man, I'm taking that Hypodex, I'm taking that Glutagenics, and some of the Career Load, and I'm also including the BCAs, man. Intra, just, you know, helps me keep going. Just, you know, right now we're in there, so yeah, man.
I'm getting definitely a lean protein, you know, just to throw in on my oatmeal. Definitely great tasting. Isofactor.
That flavor. Check one of these. This is good stuff right here, man. I like the Ep.3. Keeps you lean. It keeps you dry and hard. It gives you good pumps. And this definitely is working on the size, the Testojet, man. So this is a good stack. I've been on it for 4 weeks on it already. So this is gonna be my second cycle that we call it for 30 more days.
Vitamins, definitely take this. Great for your beard, mustache, your hair. Take it.
Oh yeah, this is the pre-workout that I'm currently my favorite, man.
This is definitely my favorite.
This is the Beta Gym.
Beta Gym. Take a scoop and a half sometimes. I love this new stuff.
stuff, man. It's hypodex, hypertonic cluster dextrin, man, and this one just kind of helps you recover faster. And it, like, we take it intra and post just to help us get that glycogen. This is a must, man, like a must.
You would have found, yes. My favorite. Well, see you.
16 weeks out, man. Got about another 4 weeks before we really start turning it on 100%. You guys have put on a lot of size in the last few weeks, so I can only imagine what's going to happen in the next couple of weeks. It's actually kind of exciting to see how you guys are changing and progressing, man.
Mixed emotions, excitement, feel anxious, nervous at the same time. The better my body's just looking, the better I know I have to perform, yeah, and just like I said before, give it all or nothing.
It's good to be nervous. I think that's what gets you going. I think always, if you're nervous, you're alive. But yeah, man, we're ready.
The next 3 weeks, I mean, you're still going to grow. You're going to put on a lot of size. You're going to get a lot thicker. But then at 12 weeks out, man, game on, baby. Game on. And I assure you, everything is done according to plan. I look the best you've ever looked in your entire life. Biggest thing right now, you know, just stay focused on what you got to do. It's only a matter of time.
You're absolutely right on that, man. It's been going on fast. And before you know it, it's been 1 week to the next,
yeah, it's
to
like
the next.
Pictures.
Yeah, and it's just, you know, it's going as, it's pretty fast, you know, it's just one day after the
And
other.
you guys don't see it because y'all are looking at yourselves every day, but like if I look at your pictures every 2 weeks, dude, drastic changes already.
Yeah, like one of my buddies, he saw me like a week, right? And then like from the 1 week to the other, he sees me and he's like, what the hell, man, like how long has it been since last time I saw you?
You have to not leave it in the judge's hands. You've got to walk up there and be number one. They've got to look at you and be like, yeah, this guy's the winner, obviously. And then we have second, third, and fourth.